Attention duelists. It is Monday. I'm Phoenix. This is Master Duel. It's time for the Watch and Learn. I hope all of you have been enjoying the Sword Soul Festival. Sorry, no, it is. Let me try that again. Hope all of you are enjoying the Zodiac Festival. Nope. That's twice. Let's give it another run. Hope all of you are enjoying the Numeron Festival. Nope. That's 3. Synchro Xyz, that's what it's supposed to be. Hope all of you are enjoying that as well as you can. This guy's playing some sort of burn back row deck. Opponent activates Resonator Command, pitching Dark Resonator to add Crimson Resonator to their hand. They summon Red Sprinter, and then Crimson Resonator. And they're going to sink them into Red Rising Dragon. Red Rising Dragon will then bring back the Crimson Resonator. Crimson Resonator will summon out two Red Resonators. And then all of them are going to sync together to make Red Supernova Dragon. With 6,000 attack points, it attempts to swing. Opponent activates Magic Cylinders. Then activates Trap Trick, setting 2 Magic Cylinder. Red Supernova does swing for 6,000. Supernova player sets 2 back row. Trap player draws for turn. They activate Lord of the Heavenly Present effect, and the opponent will chain Red Supernova's effect to it. Red Supernova will banish itself and shuffle away all of the back row, or banish all of the back row. At the end of the next turn, Red Supernova brings itself back. Dual Speed draws for turn. Activates Lord of Heavenly Present again, sets a copy of Just Desserts. Duelist A activates Resonator Call, adds another Crimson Resonator to their hand, moves to battle, swings with Red Supernova for game. Red Dragon Archfiend beats Back Row Burn, who didn't really do anything. Alright, we have another back row heavy deck here. Setting 4 back row and passing. Dual Speed draws for turn. Activates Cyber Emergency, adding Nashter to hand. They activate Nashter's effect, pitching a Cyber Dragon Hers, and their opponent will chain a Max C to this. No response to the Max C, it resolves. Nashter summons itself. Hers will activate its effect. Attempt to, but will be stopped by a Gravedigger's Trap Hold. Cyber Dragon player takes 2,000 for that. Cyber player then normal summons Cyber Dragon Core, and chains Cyber Dragon Veer's effect. Veer summons itself, and a Cyber Repair Plant is added to the Cyber player's hand, which they will then activate, adding a Cyber Dragon to their hand. They set 1 back row, Core swings for 900, passes to the Trap player, who is now identified as playing Trap Tricks. They summon Trap Tricks Dionea, and they're going to link her off into Trap Trick Sarah. Then they activate Ice Dragon's Prison, targeting their opponent's Hers. Then they banish both Hers and Core. Trap Trick Sarah will use her effect to summon Mermello. Mermello will destroy the opponent's back row of Cybernetic Overflow. Sarah's effect will chain along to the opponent's Cybernetic Overflow. Overflow will be negated by an Ash Blossom. Sarah's effect sets another Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Mermello swings over Nashter. Then main phase 2, Mermello and Sarah are going to be linked together to make Trap Tricks Kularia. During the end phase, Kularia will summon back Dionea, and Dionea will reset the Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Passes turn. Both the Cyber Dragon Veer and the Sarah, or Kularia from the external monster zone are going to be fused together to make Chimera Mega Fleet Dragon. And then the player will activate a Void Trap Hole to negate the effects of... to negate and destroy Mega Fleet. Player special summons a Cyber Dragon, who's going to get hit by a Floodgate Trap Hole. Passes to the Traptrix player. Dionea goes to attack mode, swings over the defense position Cyber Dragon. Main phase 2, Dionea is going to be linked off to make a new copy of Sarah. Player sets 1. Dionea banishes Gravedigger's Trap Hole by its effect. Dual Speed activates a Harpy's Feather Duster, and they'll activate Dimensional Barrier in response, declaring fusion, so no fusion summons can occur this turn. Feather's Duster will resolve. Sarah's effect attempts to activate, and Max C will chain in response. Sarah will summon another copy of Dionea, who will reset a Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and then Sarah will set a Floodgate Trap Hole. Cyber Dragon player summons Cyber Dragon Dry, who will swing over Sarah. Passes turn to the Traptrix player. They draw Murmello for turn. Murmelio, should say. Murmelio and Dionea are going to overlay to make Traptrix Alomaris. Alomaris will move 2 units to use its effect. Summoning back Dionea, who sets Floodgate Trap Hole. Alomaris swings over the Dry, and Dionea swings direct. Then main phase 2, Dionea will be linked off for the 3rd Traptrix Sarah of the game. This is a pretty heavy Traptrix set they're playing. Checking their extra deck now. They have another copy of Alomaris, only 1 copy of Rafflesia, surprisingly enough. And it looks like they have a couple of targets set for Waking the Dragon, just in case, such as Red Raptor Ultimate Falcon and Flower Cardian Light Flare. But, having cleared their opponent's Cyber Dragon board, it passes turn to the Cyber Dragon player. They're going to set 1 and pass. Traptrix player's turn, they draw a Compulsory Evacuation Device for turn. They had set an Ash Blossom as their barrier. Alomaris will swing over that, and then Sarah will swing directly. Dionea's trap card that was set by her will be banished. Pass turn to the Cyber player, they set 1. Player attempts to use activates Compulsory Evacuation Device, targeting their own Sarah, but is unaffected by trap cards. But because the normal trap card was activated, they are able to use Sarah's effect, summoning out another copy of Murmelio. Murmelio will destroy the opponent's back row, which was a power bond, probably a bait. Moving straight into battle phase, Alomaris will swing, and Murmelio will swing for game. Traptrix beats Cyber. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, now we have a Sword Soul player. They reveal Long Wand, pitching the Shuna to summon itself in a token. Both of those are going to be synced off immediately to make Aron. Long Wand Spec deals 1200. They'll then normal summon Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous, who will summon out a Moye. Moye will reveal the Taya in hand to summon a token. And then those two will sync off, to make Chishao. Chishao will let him add 1, Moye lets him draw. They draw another Ecclesia the Virtuous, and they add Sword Soul Blackout to their hand. They will set the Blackout and pass. Dual Speed's turn. They activate Fire Formation Tenki, which is immediately going to be negated by Baron de Fleur. Feel like they shotgun that one a little bit early. Tenki is destroyed, and its effect does not go off. Their opponent summons Sword Soul Moye and reveals Sword Soul Blackout. The Chishao in their hand will activate its effect, banishing a card to negate Moye's effect. They'll special summon an Ecclesia the Virtuous, who will sync off with their Moye to make their own Chishao after setting 3 back row. Chishao will use its effect, banishing Moye. But they will chain Sword Soul Blackout, targeting their own Chishao, their opponent's Chishao, and one of their back row. Both Chishao's and the one back row are destroyed. The back row was a Sword Soul Emergence. Chishao's effect and Moye's to add and draw will resolve, and they'll add a Sword Soul Strike to their hand and one other. Pass his turn. Baron de Fleur will immediately use its effect to attempt to pop. The player will chain the targeted card, which was called by the grave, banishing their opponent's Chishao. They'll summon Ecclesia the Virtuous, and will chain a Max C to her summon. Baron and Ecclesia will both swing, and they will end turn not performing any special summons. They're in the driver's seat, nothing to worry about, but they do have no more negations on board. Their opponent sets one in defense mode and passes. The Baron player's turn now. They draw Harpy's Feather Duster. They're going to activate it. Their opponent will activate Sword Soul Strife in response. Feather Duster does resolve. Baron de Fleur will use its effect to pop the set defense monster, which was an Ash Blossom. Baron swings for game. In the Battle of Sword Soul, whoever goes first wins. And as long as Sword Soul loses, we all win. Move on to the next one. Alright, have another Sword Soul player. It's another Sword Soul versus Sword Soul. Player sets one, summons Moye, reveals Taya, summons a token. Sinks them off to make Chishao. Chishao and Moye's effects activate. Draw one, adds long one. Long Juan will reveal and pitch, summon himself in a token, then Nibiru will activate in response. That was the 5th summon. Nibiru hits the board, player gets a token, activates Monster Reborn, resummoning their Chishao. Ends their turn. Goes right into battle phase, player swings with the token, with their Nibiru into Chishao. Chishao will chain its effect, and will chain to that a Sword Soul Strife. Card that they banished for Chishao's effect is Sword Soul Assessment. If it's banished, you can summon a token. Now, the effective Sword Soul Strife, if the card is banished, accepting the except you can banish a Worm Synchro or Sword Soul card from your hand or deck. This card is banished, you can summon another Sword Soul token. Alright, looks like they just have more ways to get out tokens. There it is. Nibiru will swing over Chishao. Main phase 2. Player will reveal their own Long Juan, pitching Taya to summon Long Juan and a token. The two are going to sync off to make Baron de Fleur. Long Juan's effect will deal 1200. Baron will pop the token that they had set. They will set 3 back row of a Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, and Called By, and pass turn. Duelist A summons Ecclesia the Virtuous, and the player will activate a Solemn Strike in response. Then they summon a Sword Soul Taya, and they will Solemn Judgment in response to that. Ecclesia was summoned by her own effect as a special summon. Duelist A passes turn. Nibiru player's turn, they draw Max C for turn. Baron de Fleur uses its effect to pop the set token. Player attempts to swing with Nibiru. Opponent will chain a Golden Sword Soul in response, but Baron de Fleur will use its effect to negate that. Nibiru swings direct for 3,000, and Baron follows up. Duelist A is down to 600 versus their opponent's 3,250. Baron de Fleur's negation is gone. They could make a comeback here. Drawing for turn, they summon Sword Soul Moye, and that is it. They have no card to reveal to summon a token. Player uses Baron's effect to pop their back row. Moving to battle phase, Nibiru swings over Moye for game. I know I said in the Battle of Sword Soul whoever goes first wins, but that's not always the case when you don't make Baron first, and you don't have protections for Nibiru. We have a Mataza the Zapper deck for the event. Duelist B did absolutely nothing. Duelist A is going to activate Reinforcement of the Army. Their opponent will activate Ash Blossom in response to that. They summon Mataza, equivalent with Axe of Despair. Equivalent with Noble Arms Clarent, which is irrelevant because their opponent has no monsters. They will swing twice for 2,300 and then pass. 2,300 twice for 4,600. Duelist B's turn. They activate Trade-In, pitching a Lava Golem to draw 2. Then activate Lightning Storm, destroying their opponent's Zapper. They set 1, activate Monster Reborn, taking their opponent's Zapper. Moving to battle, they swing twice and pass. And what they draw here, the original Mataza player could make a comeback if they get a good equip spell. But they don't. It is a copy of Lightning Storm to match the one they already had. They destroy their opponent's Cosmic Cyclone and pass. Looks like we have a Mataza versus a hard second deck. Duelist B will swing twice with their stolen Mataza and pass. After setting 1. Duelist A's turn. They draw Psychic Blade. They'll activate Lightning Storm, destroying their opponent's back row again. Their back row was Crossout Designator, which declares Raigeki, which is not Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm resolves for nothing. Player equips Psychic Blade onto the Mataza, paying 2,000 life points. They swing over the 1 for 2,000 damage and swing again direct for 3,300. Mataza beats hard second. Looks like we have a Despia Live Twin deck. They'll activate Secret Password, and their opponent will activate Ash Blossom and Joy Spring in response. That was absolutely a card they played to bait out the Ash Blossom, and it worked. They activate Live Twin Sunny Snitch now, adding a Kiss Kill Frost to their hand. They summon Kiss Kill Standard, who summons out La, and they special summon the Frost from their hand. They're going to link the two together to make Evil Twin Kiss Kill. Evil Twin Kiss Kill will let them draw a card. Then Lil La and Evil Twin Kiss Kill will link together to make Lil La. Lil La will use her effect to bring back Kiss Kill. Then both of them are going to be linked together to make Trouble Sunny. And they will end their turn at that. Their opponent activates Flaunderies and the Unexplored Wilds, or Winds, whichever it is. It's Winds. They'll activate their Kiss Kill Frost in their graveyard to draw a card because their opponent is adding a card. Opponent activates Pot of Duality, looking at the top 3. They add Rise of the Mega Monarch to their hand. Flaunderies and Rabina is summoned, and they're going to start paying life points due to Sunny Snitch. Anytime they summon a monster, they attempt to add a card through Eaglin, and that is going to be hit by an Ash Blossom. Flaunderies player ends their turn there. Evil Twin player activates the Theater of the Branded, summons Alibur, who adds a branded opening. They'll pitch 1 to summon a Dramaturge. Then the Theater of the Branded will fuse together Dramaturge and Alibur. Make Masquerade. This is a heavy tax deck they're playing. Dramaturge will summon itself back to the field. Moving into battle, Dramaturge swings over Rabina. Masquerade swings over the Eaglin. And the Trouble Sunny swings for 33. Then they use Trouble Sunny's effect to send it to the graveyard to summon back both of the twins. Lil La will pop the back row, Kiss Kill will allow them to draw a card, and it is still the battle phase, so they're able to swing with both of the twins for game. Evil Twin Despia beats Flaunderies. You'll love to see it. Alright, we have a Math Mech player this time. Math Mech versus Sword Soul. The opponent summons Sword Soul Taya, sets one back row, and passes. Math Mech player's turn. They summon Nabla and tribute it using its own effect to summon out Sigma. Then they use the addition in their hands to special summon itself, and then it and Sigma are going to sync together to make Geomath Mech Magma. Magma swings over Taya. Magma's own effect will then destroy the opponent's back row, which will Sword Soul Blackout. They will set 2 and pass. The opponent activates Harpy's Feather Duster, and they will chain a Called By in response, targeting Taya. Feather Duster resolves. They'll summon Ecclesia the Virtuous, and then tribute her using her own effect to summon Moye. Moye will reveal a Taya in hand to summon a token. Both of those are going to sync off to make Chishao. Chishao and Moye, draw 1, add 1. It looks like the Sword Soul player is firmly in the driver's seat now. They draw 1 and add Long Wan to hand. Long Wan will reveal itself, pitching a Sword Soul Strife, summoning itself in the token. Those two are going to sync together to make Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. Long Wan's effect deals 1200. Cheng Ying swings over Magma. Magma's effect adds Math Mech Equation to hand. And then Chishao swings direct. Sword Soul player sets 1 and passes. Player draws Math Mech Diameter for turn. Activates Forbidden Droplet. Pitching Called by the Grave. Targeting Chishao. They summon Math Mech Diameter, and it revives Nabla. And they activate Sword Soul Blackout in response, targeting their own Supreme Sovereign. Sovereign is saved by its own effect, banishing a card, destroys both of the players' Math Mechs. Activates Math Mech Equation to re-summon Math Mech Magma. Chishao attempts to use its effect to negate Math Mech's Magma's effect, which does not work, but because it banished for cost, this enabled Supreme Sword Soul Cheng Ying's effect to activate, making Cheng Ying stronger, and then triggering its effect to banish Magma and a card from the graveyard. Math Mech player has nothing. Passes back to the Sword Soul player. Moving right into battle, they will swing with the Supreme Sovereign for game. Sword Soul beats Math Mech. Okay, we have we have a Helkadon pile that's running 2 copies of Auroradon, along with Galaxy Tomahawk. Yeah, this is Sword Soul pile. Their opponent is going to be playing Tri-Brigade. They're going to use Fractal's effect, sending itself to send Kit. Kit then sends Nerval. Nerval then adds Kit to hand. They will summon Kit. Kit will then banish 2 to summon Bear Braum. Bear Braum and Kit are going to link together to make Rugal. Bear Braum will add 1 to hand and send 1 back. They add a Revolt to hand. They set 2 and pass. Also, let me just re-clarify. This is worse than a Helkadon Sword Soul pile. This is Adventure Helkadon pile. Disgusting. They activate Rite of Erismere, summons the token, sets Fateful Adventure, immediately shotgunning the Tri-Brigade Revolt, summons 4. We're then going to be linked off to make Shirag, the Ominous Omen. Fateful Adventure will activate as Chain Link 1, Shirag is Link 2, Nerval is Link 3, Kit is Link 4. Forbidden Droplet will chain in response to all of this, targeting Shirag. Kit will send a Mercurier. Nerval will add a Karas to hand. Shirog is negated. Fateful Adventure will add Draco back to hand. Vashuda will summon itself with controlling no effect monsters. Then Fateful Adventure will add a Wandering Griffin Rider to hand, and they will pitch Draco back. Draco back for being pitched will equip itself to the Adventure token. Draco back will then bounce the back row. Vashuda will link itself off into Monk of the Tenyi. Wandering Griffin Rider will activate its effect. Rugal will chain. Rugal summons back Nerval. Wandering Griffin Rider hits the board. The Vashuda will banish itself to bounce the Shirog. Player will summon Jet Synchron, who will link together with Monk of the Tenyi to make Halki Fibrex. Here comes the pile play. Halki Fibrex will summon out a Red Rose Dragon, who's going to link together with the Griffin to make Baron de Fleur. Red Rose will summon a Rox Rose. Rox Rose will add a Red Rose to hand. Rox Rose and Adventure Token are going to sync together to make Yazi, Evil of the Yangzing. Yazi will destroy itself and Regal. Chiwen in the graveyard will activate in response to Yazi having been popped. Regal will activate its effect for having been sent to the graveyard. Regal slightly decreases the attack points of Baron and Half. Chiwen will summon itself back along with Vashuda, who those two are going to link together to make Barricade Borg blocker. Barricade Borg and Halkith Fibrex are going to link together to make Auroradon. Here comes the pile. Auroradon's going to summon 3 tokens. Tribute itself and one of the tokens to summon O-Lion. O-Lion and one of the tokens are going to sync together to make Denglong first of the Yangzing. O-Lion will use its effect to summon back a token, and Denglong's effect will chain. Denglong adds 9 Pillars of the Yangzing to hand. Token comes out. Denglong sends away a Shuna. Then Denglong and a token are going to sync together to make Supreme Sovereign Ching Ying. Denglong will summon out a... what in God's name are you? Chitao Darkness of the Yangzing. Never seen that one before. Jet Synchron will attempt to use its effect, but will be stopped by Ash Blossom. Sorry, Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Ghost Bell will be stopped by Baron de Fleur. Jet Synchron hits the board. Vashuda banishes itself to summon out a Vashuda. A card was banished, so Supreme Sovereign will banish more cards. Then the Synchro token, and Vashuda will make Ching Ying. Ching Ying's effect will attempt to activate. Player will chain a Psy Frame Gear Gamma. Gamma will be negated by Ash Blossom. This is ridiculous how this guy has all the answers. Player will then M-Perm Ching Ying. Ching Ying does not get to add one of choice. Gear Gamma is negated. Chishao is negated. Moving on to battle, Supreme Sovereign swings, along with Ching Ying and Baron de Fleur for game. Disgusting. I know that they are banning Hulk soon, but if they could ban Auroradon too, that would be stellar. Alright, we have some sort of Utopia deck. Let's run a weird list. Versus Blue Eyes. Player activates Bingo Machine, go! Reveals an Alt Dragon, what's that other card? True Light. Revealed True Light and 2 Blue Eyes Alt Dragons. They summon Cyberstein. Use its effect, paying 5,000, summon Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Set 1 back row and pass. This is weird. Player is going to set their Astraltopia in defense mode, set 2 back row, and pass. One of their set cards is Ring of Destruction. Blue Eyes player draws for turn. They reveal a blue-eyes white dragon in their hand to summon the alt dragon. Ring of Destruction activates, targeting the alt dragon. They chain a Jar of Greed, for some reason. They resolve! Ring of Destruction blows up the alt dragon. Both players take 3,000, and that's game. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We have a Zodiac Exosister Magistus deck list here. Strange times as these. Duelist A passes. Duelist B's turn. They draw Fire from Ancient Tenki, and they activate it, adding a Thoroughblade to hand. They summon Thoroughblade, using its effect to pitch 1 to draw 1, pitching their second copy of Thoroughblade. Thoroughblade will be used as solo material to make Chicane. Chicane will then continue to Zodiac Climb, going to Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar will keep going into Borbo. Borbo will swing direct. Main phase 2, Borbo will turn into Zeus. Player will set 2 back row and pass. Duelist A's turn. They draw and do nothing. Player draws Giddy Crow for turn. Switches Zeus to attack mode. Summons Zoro Magistus of Flame. Uses its effect to equip itself with Haram. And special summons a level 4 spellcaster in the form of Exosister Ellis. And those two will mix these together to make Michaelis. Michaelis will detach a material to add Exosister Vadis to hand. Moving into battle, Zeus and Michaelis are going to swing together. Duelist A is down to 800. They will set their Vadis and pass turn. Duelist A does nothing, pitching an Astrograph Sorcerer for their turn. Player activates Vadis, which summons a Stella and an Ellis. Those two are going to overlay to make Caspatel. Caspatel will then swing for game. Zoom Magistus Exosister beats Sir not appearing in this episode, I guess. Alright, we have some sort of Despian player here. Why are you running Celine? Millenniumize Restrict. This is a weird extra deck this guy is running. My opponent activates Branded Opening, pitching a Golden Sword Soul to summon Alibur. Alibur is going to get hit by an Effect Veiler. Alibur is negated. Duelist A passes turn. Duelist B draws Relinquished for turn. Activates Instant Fusion, paying 1,000. Their opponent will activate Max C in response. They'll activate Called By in response to the Max C. Max C is negated. Instant Fusion is going to bring out Millenniumize Restrict. They'll then normal summon Alibur, Jester of Despia, whose effect will be negated by an Ash Blossom. Millenniumize Restrict will chain to the Ash Blossom's effect. Ash Blossom is equipped to it and negated. Alibur's effect resolves, adding Branded Fusion to hand. That is a clever way to get around hand traps. They activate Branded Fusion, using Millenniumize Illusionist and Fallen of Albaz to make Lubellion. Rebellion will use its effect, pitching Relinquish for cost, fusing Relinquish that they just sent away with Fallen Albaz to make another Millenniumized Restrict. The Millenniumized Illusionist was in their graveyard will add itself back to hand. Moving on to battle, Alibur will swing over Alibur. And then during the end phase, the instant fusion summon Millenniumized Restrict will be destroyed. Player summons Fallen of Albaz, pitching Fallen of Albaz for cost. Millenniumized Restrict will chain in response, targeting Fallen of Albaz, equipping itself and negating the effect. Ends turn. This is wild to see it played this way. Player draws Brand of Retribution for turn. Summons Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, who's going to link off with Alibur to make Predaplant Verte Anaconda. Anaconda will send away Branded Fusion, along with Albaz and Illusionist Faithless Mage, to summon another Lubellion. They'll go into battle, Millennium Eyes, and both Lubellions will swing, along with Verte. Duelist A is down to 700. Player will set one and pass. I want to take a look at Millenniumized Restrict real quick. It's a fusion monster requiring relinquished and one effect monster. Once per turn, your opponent activates a monster effect. You can target one effect monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Equip that target to this card you control. This card gains attack defense equal to equipped monsters. Monsters with that equipped monster's name cannot attack, and their effects on the field and their activated effects are negated. That is a really clever way to get around hand traps. Duelist A has nothing. They pass. Player draws Nibiru for turn, but it doesn't matter. They're going to attribute two of their monsters to summon their own Nibiru, and then Nibiru will swing for game. That is a really original deck. Duelist B, you have impressed me. You are going to be the highlight of this stream for me, for sure. I kind of want to make a relinquish deck. Alright, back to basics with the Sword Soul player here. They activate Sword Soul Emergence, adding Moye to hand, no response from the opponent. They activate Vishuda's effect to summon itself. Their opponent will activate Impermanence on Vishuda. That was a waste. Player summons Moye, revealing Taya. That summons a token. Moye and token are going to sync together to make Chishao. Chishao adds, Moye draws. They drew a Taya and added Long Wan. Long Wan uses its effect, pitching a Taya. Summons itself and a token. Long Wan and token are going to sync together, making Baron de Fleur. Long Wan deals 1200. They pass turn. Duelist A draws. Hold the phone just a second. They activate Dryotron Alpha Thuban, tributing Natasha. Baron de Fleur's effect activates in response to Thuban. Thuban is negated and destroyed. Duelist A passes. Sword Soul player's turn. They summon Ecclesia. Use her effect to tribute herself to summon another Moye. Moye reveals Taya again. Summons a token. Moye and token sync together. Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. Moye lets them draw one. Moving to battle, Chishao swings, Draco Berserker swings, and Baron swings for game. Sword Soul beats Drytron. A much less entertaining match compared to the last one. I'm going to be thinking about that all week. Alright, hang on a second. Just because I need to criticize the deck that I'm looking at. They have Ecclesia the Virtuous, Regeki, Numeron Calling, Mirror Force, and Impermanence. Their extra deck has 2 copies of Gate 4, 1 of Gate 3, 1 of Gate 2, 1 of Gate 1, a Chaos Gate Sunya, Number 100. Punk Amazing Dragon, High Speed Roid Clearwing Rider, Sinister Sovereign, Supreme Sovereign, Baron de Fleur, Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree, Stellar Wind Wolfrayet, and Stardust Dragon. What the hell is this guy running? Other than just a monster. Well, it did nothing on his turn, so it passes the opponent. The opponent activates Fire Formation Tenki, adds Zodiac Whiptail to hand, summons Whiptail. Whiptail will be used as solo material. For Borbo, not even getting fancy with it, Borbo, shotgun in their Borbo already, it's going to go into Hammer Kong. Hammer Kong is going to keep it going. Going into Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar keeps going. Chicanine. Chicanine keeps going. Into Trident. Trident will then swing for 1300. Main phase 2, Trident will turn into Zeus. I feel like they really overcommitted to the Zeus there. Zeus set in defense mode in the extra monster zone, passes turn. Player activates Raigeki. They hyper committed to Zeus and they're suffering for it. They summon Ecclesia the Virtuous and tribute her. Their opponent will activate Max C in response. Ecclesia summons the Golden Sword Soul. Sword Soul. Said it weird. Golden Sword Soul will swing direct. They will set Imperm and pass to the opponent. Player summons Zodiac Ram Ram. Ram Ram will go into Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar into Chicanine. They've already used Trident and they've already used Zeus. They go into Borbo now. Borbo keeps going. Into Vespinato. They're going to Imperm Vespinato. Vespinato swings over the Sword Soul. Passes turn. Player draws Speedroid Malicious Magnet. They set their Mirror Force, not activating Numeron Calling yet. Duelist A activates Pot of Avarice. That's a good way to get their cards back in the extra deck. They activate Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying the Mirror Force. Vespinato will then be used as material. For number 21, Frozen Lady Justice. Hang on a sec, I gotta clock why she's so strong. Gains 1000 attack for each Xyz material attached to it. That'll do a lot. And with the base attack of 500, she currently has a 4500 body. That's a big lady. Player summons Bunny Blast, turns it into Hammer Kong, and then Tiger Mortar. Tiger Mortar swings, and Lady Justice swings as well for 4500 and game. Whatever that gal is running, he never activated Numeron Network, which is surprising. Alright, this looks like... Yep, this is a Numeron hard second deck. Player activates Long Wand, pitching Iris Sword Soul. Player chains Max C in response to Long Wand. Max C resolves. Long Wand summons itself in the token. From there, Long Wand and token are going to go into Baron de Fleur. Long Wand will deal 1200. They set 2 back row, and it is not going to matter. Numeron player has this, I can already feel it. That's the wrong order. They immediately went to Harpy's Feather Duster, but the opponent still has Baron de Fleur on board. What they should have done is summon Godarla, tributing Baron de Fleur, then use Harpy's Feather Duster. But instead, they're going to use Ciphering Gear Gamma in response to Baron de Fleur's effect, and their opponent will chain in Max C. Gear Gamma will summon itself and a driver. Piranha Flare is destroyed and negated. Harpy's Feather Duster does resolve. Going in the battle phase, Driver and Gamma are going to swing for combined 3,500. Not using Numeron Calling yet. That is surprising. Would have thought they would have just gone for game. Swordcell player's turn. They do nothing. Passes back to Numeron player. They set Called By and pass. Why aren't they going for the win? They have 2 Numeron Callings. Their opponent will summon Ecclesia, use her effect, and they will chain a Max C to it. Their opponent will activate Ash Blossom in response. Ash Blossom will be countered by a Called By the Grave. Ecclesia will resolve on summoning Taya, and player will add a Numeron Wall to their hand. Taya will swing direct. Passes turn to the Numeron player, not using their Numeron cards. I realize I was mistaking Numeron Network and Numeron Calling for each other now. Now that he's got Numeron Network, he will activate it, sending away the 3rd Numeron Calling in his deck. Player will chain a Max C to the response of Numeron Network. Max C will resolve. The 4 gates are summoned. Player activates Limiter Removal. First gate swings over Taya. Doubles all their stats. Second gate swings for 4,000. Third gate for another 4,000 and game. You can tell I don't play Numerons because I don't remember the difference between Network and Calling. Alright, this is some kind of Blue Eyes Boral deck with Dragon Maids 2. We're just going to say they're playing dragons. The opponent will summon Night Express Knight. And then Heavy Freight Train Derricrane will use its effect to summon itself. And Super Express Bullet Train will summon itself as well. Bullet Train and Night Express are going to overlay into Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Gustav uses its effect, attaching it to deal 2,000. Train player will set 1 and pass. Blue Eyes player's turn. They activate Foolish Burial, sending away a... That clock what that was. Double Disruptor Dragon. Then activate Dragon Shrine. Dragon Shrine is going to send away a Blue Eyes White Dragon and a White Stone of Ancients. Double Disruptor Dragon will banish itself from the graveyard. But it will be negated by the opponent's Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Player will set 2 cards and pass, but not before the White Stone of Ancients summons a Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Will add Heavy Interlock to their hand. And a Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Dual Speed will use Gustav Max's effect again, dealing another 2,000. Then they'll summon a Flying Pegasus Railroad Stampede, who will revive Night Express Knight. Pegasus will make itself level 10, charging Derricrane for that, and make another Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max, who will again use its effect to deal 2,000 damage. And that will be game. Heavy Machines beat whatever the hell that guy was doing. I'm not even going to pretend I thought his deck had synergy. Alright, we have another Trap Tricks player, the same thing we opened up with, only running a 12-card extra deck, though. And their opponent is playing a 45-card Spellbook deck. They activate Spellbook of Judgment, and then summon Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod will be countered by an Imperm. Player then activates Soul Servant, stacking their deck. And then they're able to draw 1 due to Spellbook of Judgment, and summon Magician's Souls by Spellbook of Judgment. Player draws Mantis for turn, sets 2, summons Mantis. Mantis will add Dionea to hand. Lord of Heavenly Prison will use its effect to protect the back row. Then Mantis will turn to Trap Trick Sarah. Moving into battle, Sarah will swing over Magician's Souls and pass to the opponent. Dual Speed draws for turn. They will activate Spellbook of Secrets, adding Spellbook of Fate to their hand. They will then activate Spellbook of the Masters. Spellbook of the Masters. If you control a spellcaster type monster, reveal another Spellbook card in your hand. Target Spellbook normal spell in your graveyard, except Spellbook of the Master. This card's effect becomes that target's effect. And he targeted Spellbook of Knowledge with Spellbook of the Master. Sorry, he targeted Spellbook of Secrets, which is effect lets him add another Spellbook card to his hand. And he will add Spellbook of Eternity. He will then activate Spellbook of Knowledge, pitching Spellbook of Eternity to draw 2 cards. Magician's Rod will swing over Trap Trick Sarah. He will set 1 and pass. Trap Trick's player draws for turn. They summon Dionea, targeting the Mantis in their graveyard, summoning it back, and will overlay the 2 to make Trap Trick's Alameris. In response, player will activate Trap Trick of Fate, banishing 3 to banish the Alameris. To activate Lord of Heavenly Prison's effect will activate because a back row was activated and it summons itself, a 3000 by 3000, and it will swing over Magician's Rod. Player will then set 1 card, which is Forbidden Droplet, and pass. Spellbook player's turn. They summon the Spellbook Magician. Forbidden Droplet will activate in response to Magician's summon to negate its effect, pitching the Destiny Hero Denier in their hand. Magician's Prophecy is negated. They set 1 more back row and pass. Trap Trick player draws Bottomless Trap Hole for turn. Move into battle. Lord of Heavenly Prison will swing over the Spellbook Magician. Pass turn. Spellbook player's turn. They draw, set 1 back row, and pass. Trap Trick player draws Vesiculo for turn, who they will summon. Vesiculo will swing for 14, and Lord of Heavenly Prison will swing for game. Not quite hitting the full hour mark, but for the sense of poetry and good flow, ending off on the same sort of match we start on with Trap Tricks and Trap Tricks in both is satisfying to me, so I'm going to end the video there. Also because the people outside are getting loud. I don't want to ruin my audio. I'm still thinking about that guy who was running branded Restrict. That's giving me ideas. But while I think of my terrible ideas, that's going to be the end of this video. If you caught the stream, thanks for watching. If you catch the replay, thanks for that too. Goodbye.